Welcome back to another episode of The Fool's Journey by the Third Eye of Providence. I appreciate all of the support on this series of content and for you guys hitting the like button, leaving comments, and for everybody that's been subscribing. If this is the first time you're checking out this series, you should know that this is one episode of the Fool's Journey that we started on January 1st, and we've walked through the tarot card by card, and now we are on number 19, the Sun. This is the Robert Hansen's Tarot, and we're using this because it's a deck that is read with reversals. And I'm comparing the symbology in the card with the Twin Tarot to show the shadow, the light, positive aspect, and the shadow, negative aspect. So, I'm going to get into the Complete Book of Tarot, A Comprehensive Guide by Anthony Lewis. We have here another image of the Sun card for you to compare the symbolism in. All right, so it says the sun is a ray of sunshine. The astrology connected with this card is, of course, the sun, and that's the fire sign that rules Leo. Now, the card element would be, of course, again, fire, and the myth and the archetypes connected with the sun card are the sun god, the Logos, Apollo, and the Egyptian god Amun-Ra. Alright, and then getting back into the tradition of the tarot, we would have this card in a reading. According to the Mathers deck, which goes all the way back to 1888, when this card appears, it's going to represent happiness, contentment, and joy. In the reverse, it still means happiness and joy, but not quite as satisfying. In the Rider-Waite, when the Sun card appears in a reading, it's going to represent material happiness, contentment, and a fortunate marriage. In the reverse, same, but again to a lesser degree. So still a positive card, even when it comes out in reverse, just not quite as good of an omen. In the Order of the Golden Dawn, when the Sun card appears in a reading, it's going to represent gain, riches, honor, glory, vanity, display, and arrogance. Let's see. And that would only apply, the arrogance would only apply in a reading in the Order of the Golden Dawn when the sun is accompanied by negative cards. So, when the sun appears upright in a reading, it's a positive card that typically symbolizes a period of success, achievements, recognition, warmth, happiness, popularity, and contentment. Health improves and personal relationships will prosper. Work situations and new ventures go well. Because of the sun's connection with Leo in the 5th house of the natural zodiac, modern astrologers believe that this card can also signify romance, marriage, creative self-expression, the birth of children, or other matters related to offspring. It says that when this card appears upright in a reading, now is a time of clarity, illumination, and enlightenment. Ponder the words of the bard. How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a weary world. It's from The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. Now, when the sun comes out reverse in a reading again, it's still a positive card, but presumably less of, or to a lesser degree rather. It may be that something is blocking you from fully experiencing the joy and clarity that is possible at this time. Perhaps it's an inflated ego that's getting in the way. It could be excessive pride, as that is one of the faults of the sign Leo. You may not get the standing ovation that you were hoping for. Okay, so again, in the negative aspects of this, we have vanity, egotism, arrogance, pride, smugness, megalomania, a lack of appreciation, delayed success, and unrealistic ambitions. In the positive, again, it's success, it's optimism, it's joy, it's vitality, it's contentment, good health, healing, positive energy, youth and vigor, happiness and warmth, brilliance, clarity, radiance, enlightenment, and childlike delight. So, let's get into the symbolism. I want to show you this one again because this is a very traditional interpretation of this card. You see a child naked riding a horse, typically with a banner. The sun is shining in the background, and there will usually be sunflowers on the card as well. And there is a wall behind the child. I'm not quite sure what that signifies in the symbolism, but let's see what we can come up with here. So again, we know this is a positive omen. This is the most positive card in the deck because, like we said in previous episodes, when you see the sun, it's an omen. It's a symbolism of joy and happiness and enlightenment in any other card. So when there's sun in the background, it's about happiness and clarity and enlightenment and information from the divine and the source. So the actual sun card is the most happiest out of all of these cards. And of course we have the helioscopic sunflowers in the background. These are the flowers that face the direction of the sun, right? So we have blossoming toward enlightenment. The child is naked because, like we've said in other cards, nakedness in the tarot represents vulnerability and innocence. That's also why we see this child riding a white horse to represent the innocence and the purity of this child. Then we see the child is holding a banner, and we've talked about this before in the past, that the color blue is to represent truth, it's to represent the throat chakra, and that is all about speaking with clarity, contentment, and peace. So the symbolism again is pretty accurate to the traditional here. But in this card we have two children riding the horse, and I guess that it would represent the happy marriage, like the book said. Of course, the white horse, and we've said before too, the white and red roses represent purity and innocence. They're holding the sunflowers. You see the sun in the background, and is also the symbolism of the sun here. And these children are very delighted. Now, in this, the shadow aspect, you can obviously see the difference here. Light, shadow. So the children are not riding the horse. The horse is lost of its innocence and the flowers and the purity. No roses. The children are wearing clothing, so they're not being vulnerable in this situation. They are kind of distracted and playful and not paying attention to what could really make them happy, right? Working together. I also want to point out how they have flower crowns. So this is like the crown activation. And then in this one, they don't. But the child is putting together crowns. They're just made out of the vines from the wall. So, like we said, it's still a positive card, even if it comes out in the reverse and even in the negative. It just represents not being quite as happy as one could possibly be and not paying attention to the blessings that are right in front of you. So the Sun card overall, one of the best cards you can get in a reading, and I hope that this video has been helpful to you to interpret and understand the symbolism in the card and how to interpret it when you get it in a reading. If there was something in the symbolism that I did not touch on and you want to leave a comment below, that's super appreciated. It helps everybody here expand our knowledge together, which is the whole point of doing this series. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and I hope to see you on the next episode.